Hello and welcome to this video series on ImageQuant TL Analysis software. In this video, we will guide you and help you get the most out of your images.
Welcome to this tutorial video of ImageQuant TL. In this video, we will learn about the Analysis Toolbox, and it will help you to make line profiles easily and also analyze multiple objects. First, click on the Analysis Toolbox button. We will analyze a tutorial image that you find under the menu and Open Tutorial Image called Flower. The first thing we adjust is usually the contrast. Click on Display and you can custom set the max and minimum limits simply by dragging the limits like this. You can also go to and enter manual numbers if you wish. You can also reset the scale. In this case, we will use custom settings like this. If you wish, you can choose other colors like a wide range to set like red, green and blue. It is also possible to use heat maps to have multiple colors to display the intensity. For this video we will use the grayscale. To move the image view, just press Shift and then right click to pan. You can also press Shift and use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. Like this. You can even zoom in and see individual pixels if you continue to zoom for some time. So here you see we are getting close and eventually you can see the pixel. And by hovering with the mouse cursor over the pixel you can see the intensity values of each pixel. Let's zoom out, for example, by clicking on the Fit Image. And now we will go to the next step of the analysis, which is the Analyze step. In the Analysis step, there is a panel with different tools that can be used for analysis of any image. And you can open a TIFF file, which is what we recommend usually for quantitative analysis, but it is also possible to open other file types like JPEG or PNG. The most common types of analysis is to place various objects or shapes and then analyze the content or the pixels inside that shape. So it is easy, for example, to place rectangles like this for different areas. You can also place ellipses like that easily. You can also copy and paste shapes that you have created easily. It is also possible to very quickly create a grid and calculate the shapes within the grid. So you can, as you can see, you can select various grids here, for example a 20 by 20 grid. And as soon as you have done that, you have then created a large number of shapes and calculations are performed for each shape. So in this case, we may want to edit all shapes. For example, we may want to have a smaller font size to see the numbers more clearly. So, for example, it can look something like this. And this type of analysis is useful when you have regular samples, for example, an array, or it could be some kind of a multiwell plate. When they are positioned, your samples are positioned in a regular pattern. Or if you want to analyze a surface area, maybe different sub-areas within an area, then this is a very useful tool. However, for this type of samples that we will investigate now, like a more irregular sample, for example a tissue sample, or in this case the flower, then we want to create non-regular shapes and many non-regular shapes. So how do you do that? Well, there is a new tool in ImageQuant called Detect Objects. Press on that and first create an area of interest. So click on one point, which will be the upper left corner, and create the area of interest by releasing at the lower right corner. Now you have created the area of interest, and automatically some shapes are created within that area. But you need to set the threshold detection, and you can do that either by adjusting this setting bar in the histogram like this, and you can see that small movements can have a large impact on the shapes that are created. So for example, perhaps this is a suitable setting. You can also use the mouse wheel when you have positioned the cursor within the area of interest. Or you can place the cursor on the threshold setting and just move the cursor to the left and to the right. Please note that setting the threshold too low, like this, will not create meaningful objects, and setting it too high will also not create any objects. So you need to find that optimum threshold that is suitable for your sample, and then make comparisons within the image. Say that we use this as the suitable setting. We are happy, we press complete, and now the objects are created. In this case, it seems like there are 116 different shapes that have been created. And to edit these shapes, just click on the edit icon. And all shapes can be selected either by Ctrl A, that I pressed now, or by making an area that captures all the shapes. And once you have done that, you can then edit the appearance of the shapes, the color. Maybe you want them to be red. The font can be changed, and the lines, and also the position of the label, and so on. And now it is easy to zoom in and out and investigate the shapes that you have created. For all the shapes, the different parameters have been calculated and are displayed in the results table below. And each parameter can be sorted, so you see the arrows next to the parameter name, and you select the parameters that you would like to display using this menu settings. Normally, area is of interest, volume is of interest, that is the sum of all pixel intensities in the shape. A background level can be selected. You can choose a background subtraction level. And also the mean is typically of interest. It could also be of interest to have the maximum pixel intensity to make sure that you haven't saturated the detector of your imaging system. And the standard deviation will give you an indication of the variation of the intensity within that shape. To select a shape, simply click on it. And you notice that to calculate the background, you can select various background methods. It is also possible to simply export the data to, for example, Excel by simply pressing this button, copy to clipboard, and then paste the data into Excel. Then you will paste the results table. And then you can perform the background subtraction in other software also easily. You can also export the data as a CSV file. Finally, I would like to show the line profile. So let's clear all the shapes, and the line profile is this icon here. That is a useful tool when you quickly want to investigate some areas of an image. So in this case, we may want to check the line profile for this region, and then you see that you plot that line profile in this window below. You can easily create multiple line profiles. Like this. And to display them all in the figure, then select all, like that. You can also export the data to a CSV file, and then you can get all that data for these different line profiles in a CSV file. It is also possible to create a PDF report, which will contain information about the analysis performed. If you at any time would like to undo a step in your analysis, then just click on the arrow in the bottom right menu. There is also an online help that can easily be accessed. And if you have multiple images open and want to quickly switch between windows, then this is a multi-window selector. In this case, we have only opened one image, but if you would have opened multiple images, then this would have been a list of all the opened analysis windows, and you can quickly navigate using this list. This concludes this video. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to check out the other videos in this series, or go to saitiva.com/iqtl to learn more. See you in the next video.